Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to say thank you guys so much for the love on my last video. I thought I might as well give you guys a tutorial and sort of a run through on how I leveled up my art style drastically in less than a year. For reference, this is earlier on this year. I want to say around January to March. And then here is about June and July. So this is kind of how my artwork has been and consistently been for a little while now. And I thought I might as well give you my biggest tips for improving. And really, I feel like people don't take this into account, but the biggest way to improve is to copy other people. And when I say copy other people, please do not take the art for your own. When I mean copy, I mean reference other people and their art that you like, so that you know what you're aiming for and you know how to execute what you want to do. Don't just go trace over the art and then say, oh, I made this, da 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 da. Don't give credit. Be very careful about how you do that, because you never want to unintentionally steal, and you don't want to do it intentionally either. You do not want to steal other people's artwork in no way, shape, or form. And I'm telling you, if you don't do it properly, you're going to be stealing people's artwork. So for me, how I go about doing that is the well-loved style studies that I do on my channel is how I basically go about copying other people. Copying is such a good form in anything that you're trying to learn in order to learn. When you're learning a new language, what do? You copy other people's sentences to... You don't know what they're saying. You don't know what they're doing. You just copy them. And then eventually you pick up the language skills. Copying what other people do is how you improve. And the same applies for art. But when you do that, especially for me, I avoid posting my style studies onto my social media like my Instagram or my TikTok. I only post it on YouTube kind of as a longer form video, and I always credit the person who made the original artwork, always, because I didn't make it. Another person did, and I'm just practicing with that artwork. But you never want to not credit the person, and I strongly discourage posting your style studies onto your social media such as Instagram or TikTok or anywhere like that, because it makes it seem like you're trying to pass it off as your own. So if you look through my Instagram or my TikTok, you're never gonna see my style studies on there. You're only gonna see my own artworks that I applied the things I learned from that style study to, but you're never going to see the actual study posted onto my accounts. And the second thing would definitely be to kind of use your references to your advantage. Definitely. There's so many people, and myself included, who kind of neglect references sometimes. They are very useful because they can drastically change how the anatomy in your art looks. And anatomy is such a big part of that, especially like making it not look all over the place. If you have good anatomy, it doesn't even have to be fabulous. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you flip the canvas, I don't expect it to be 100% symmetrical or anything. Just make it so that, you know, it looks, I guess, unified is the word I'm looking for. And that's how you elude, because you don't even have to know anatomy. if you use a reference, it alludes to that you know anatomy, but that doesn't mean you actually know it. Okay. For me, anatomy is a big struggle, but that's what reference photos are for. Use the reference photos, it'll help you out a lot. Another tip would be and this is more for encouragement to keep practicing, but also to see how much you've leveled up. Go back to your old artworks and analyze them or redraw them or draw over them. I severely need to do this eventually. I think I'm gonna do it sometime this week or one of these days. I definitely need to revisit some of my old artworks, draw on top of them, study them, remake them, stuff like that, see how much I improved. And that's going to be a definitely boost in encouragement, but also it lets you know the differences between back then versus now. And they're one of my favorites because you don't need to have any new ideas, look at new reference photos or anything like that. So if you have like art block or whatever and you want to kind of like find something to draw, it's also something good to do. Another thing is if you're a digital artist, I would say utilize blending modes for layers. If you don't know what blending modes are, they are basically, you can set layers to different blending modes and it basically applies a different effect to that layer. I've been using this a lot more recently because a big problem with why my art style wasn't that good as it is now is because there wasn't as much cohesiveness. So I thought the way to make it cohesive would be to unify them with common lighting. So my common lighting that I'm trying to implement now is a vivid light layer, which allows for like that bright exposure type look, which I really like and I want to keep doing, and I feel like will make my art look more cohesive and look less, out of place. You know what I mean? So I would say utilize those because lighting can actually make a big difference to your style. I recently noticed that where I'm like, what's these pieces, these artworks, they have the same level of skill, but one isn't as cohesive as the others. And the reason why is because the lighting isn't cohesive. So that's something that I'm going to keep in mind. The next tip would be utilize your effects. The effects that I like to use are chromatic aberration and Gaussian blur. And I use those lightly. I don't go too overboard, but it really just adds focal points to your drawing and just overall makes it look so much more appealing to look at, especially for me. I don't know if it's the same for everybody else, but definitely for me, it looks so much more interesting to look at. And I probably will continue to do it because I am on and off with it. Sometimes I'll use those effects and then sometimes I won't, but I noticed like literally the other day my art looks 10 times better if I do use it, so why am I not using it? You know what I mean? So I'm going to use it more. And yeah, so those are the things that help me improve my art style and I think can drastically help you guys watching. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, follow my Instagram, follow my TikTok. My brushes link in description, and yeah, bye.